Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where today we have a replay sent in by a fellow CC. This is the Randy Duck and he's in the PLEB clan, so shout out to the PLEB clan. So I will get my words out. But what have we got here today? We have Randy Duck in his SU 12254 on Westfield. Westfield does seem to be a map that pulls in, or Westfield is a map that allows for some pretty good replays, and there are probably various reasons for that, but one of them is it does have nice wide open spaces, so if you get spotted you are, well, you're quite a nice target, aren't you? But here we have Randy Duck. He's heading up the K line to what I suspect is going to be not there, just left of his reticle, that nice little mound. And I'm guessing he's going to knock the trees over, because this is, as we've seen before in other community replays from CCs, that is a spectacular position to sit if you've got decent concealment. Or you can just sit there and shoot at a CS63 that YOLOs around the corner. And then stops. And gets shot in the booty. I'm not an expert in the CS63, obviously, but what I do know is you shouldn't do that. first kill of the game, and it was that CS63. Yeah, don't rush quite like that. I mean, it's good to be aggressive sometimes, but not to that extent. And I was completely wrong about the position that Randy was going to take here. He has pushed all the way down the K line to the southeastern corner of the map, which again, you know, not a bad position for a tank destroyer, especially if you want to shoot at whatever is coming towards you down the zero, like this object 257. Now the 257 is a very, very tough target. I remember, and he's put heat rounds in just to take out the 257, which is understandable. It's a very well armored tank from the front and the sides. I do remember many years ago, this was pre 6.0, I do remember pinning a 257 up against a wall in my tier 8 tank destroyer, the T28, and just bouncing off the side of it. And I thought, and at that point I was relatively new to the game, probably in my second year, and after that experience I decided that the 257 was a tank I wanted because its armor is incredibly good. But what Randy's doing here is he's playing the patient game, which is exactly what you need to do in a tank destroyer, especially in World War II, when you are reliant on other people spotting the targets for you. You can, well, if you've got the concealment, which he does, you can spot your own targets, but if you're sitting in concealment, you can't really see out of it all that well. So at the moment, he is reliant on what, is that a T-49 next to him? I think that is a T-49, American light tank, tier 9. Yes, he is reliant on the light tank to spot, and there's the enemy T-49 who has disappeared behind the mound in G0, which is also where an AVRE is sitting. It's also where the 257 is sitting. So what do you do? What do you do at this point? Do you continue waiting and being patient, or do you push forward slightly? And I'm assuming that is exactly what was going through Randy's mind at this point, because yes, you can be patient, but patience does reach its end. And that was, based on that angle, that was a RNG said yes on that one. I would have expected that one to bounce. Maybe it went through the front drive wheel, I don't know, but nonetheless we get the penetration. So we're coming up to, we've just gone past the 4th minute, we're into the 5th minute of the game now. He's on 2,895 damage with 1 kill, because the CS63 was kind enough to, well, kind of hand that one to him, really. That's kind of how that went. But he is up here alone with a T-49 that is a one-shot, and their T-49 is getting very aggressive just on the edge of the valley. And what's that heavy? There is a heavy down there. I don't know what... There's 2 heavies. Sorry, IS-4, okay. IS-4, that's not good. Very aggressive position for the IS-4 to be in, and its fellow heavy. T-49 doesn't... The T-49 clearly doesn't want to push any further because he knows it's a one-shot. There is an AVRE down the other end. And this is a very good position. If you're playing Westfield and you're in a TD, this is actually a very, very good position if you've got the concealment. Obviously, you need the concealment to work for you. Knock down the trees because you've got plenty of cover in front of you. He is double bushed here, and what that means is, no, not that. What that means is he's got a bush concealing him at his location, and he's got to shoot through another bush, which means there's 100% concealment in front of him. 257 proving that its armor is very strong, but not strong enough. The frontal weak spot of the 257 is the lower plate. You've got the pike nose at the front, and it's the lower section. It's essentially the same as the IS-3, although the 257 is tier 9, not tier 8, so it is harder to penetrate. But we have a Centauro sitting on the bridge, which again, this is the second tank on the enemy team to make themselves a very easy target. I don't recommend sitting on the bridge, to be honest. In World War II, I very rarely would cross the bridge. I do it sometimes in Cold War, but you've got the speed. But in World War II, I wouldn't really. And if there was ever a position you wanted a T-58 Heavy to be, this is it. Back end on, reversing down the slope. So, spotted, the weak side is pointing towards you. And again, if you want an AVRE to be positioned a particular way, that is exactly how you want it. Side on. Aiming for the side of the turret, bounces. Okay. Not what you really want for the AVRE, especially now that you're spotted. I would assume that AVRE is trying to get a shot onto Randy at this point, but he falls back down the slope, which is sensible. Get out of line of sight of the AVRE. Can you get a shot on the T-49? Now, there. Okay. Don't know where that one went. Doesn't matter though. T-49 is dead. 5,871 damage and 3 kills. Not bad, and his team does have the advantage of 11-7. There goes the IS-4 that was in the bottom of the valley. We spotted that one. We made note of that one earlier. That's the Type 5. Oh, yeah. Take out a Type 5 Heavy. A great big lumbering giant thing in the bottom of the valley. That's a... Well, I suppose a Type 5... The only position I would really try and play a Type 5 would be B2, because at least up that way you've got concealment and you're not having to cover massively open swathes of ground. But, oh well, hindsight is 2020. There is an AVRE around here. Steady, yeah. It's fired. It's a one. I believe that's a one shot for the 122. Is it? That's the best way to have an AVRE, isn't it? That's how every AVRE should be. Dead. Smoking. And here we are. We're entering the final stages of the game. Standard B. I do like the Standard B. The auto reloading system does work well with me, but clearly this guy has got himself in a bit of a pickle. And he's dead. One tank left alive. It is the 268, which is the turreted version of the 268. That's the premium version of the 268, I believe. We've got that for Christmas. Was it a Christmas tank? I can't remember. Anyway, doesn't matter. 4 kills, 7,853 damage in the SU 122-54. That was Randy Duck demonstrating, well, demonstrating exactly how you should play the SU 122-54 on Westfield. A very, very good game, and you are so close to your third mark with 92 point something % there. I missed it. But there you go, guys. That is all I have for this replay. If you've enjoyed it, please leave it a like, if not a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.